Part 1, Understanding the Magic Mindset. 1. The trouble with positivity: sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple. Dr. Seuss. In 2005, I remember sitting in a multiplex with a group of friends, clutching my tummy and laughing helplessly till tears rolled down my eyes, at one of the silliest Hindi films I've watched till date. The movie, No Entry, among the biggest hits of that year, starred Anil Kapoor in a comic role. The character that he plays keeps advising his friend to be positive, especially when they are both in the kind of trouble from where there seems to be no escape, and they are likely to get thrashed. In exasperation, the friend asks, "Why do you keep saying this? What is this be positive?" "Oh, it's just my blood group," he replies. "I will need it when we're beaten up and lying in the hospital." Anytime I hear the phrase "be positive," it takes me back to the movie. The phrase, due to its overuse, especially in today's times, has become hackneyed. When the circumstances are grave, the phrase can almost sound like a joke. We all want to see bad situations in a new, hopeful light. But how do we do that? What if there's really no solution? This is where the magic mindset helps. While positivity tells us to look at the bright side of things, the magic mindset embraces and accepts that it is not always possible to look at the bright side. Sometimes, things are so bleak that our mind refuses to accept that there can be anything positive about it. Positivity as people see it. According to the Oxford Dictionary, positivity is a practice of being optimistic in attitude. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, positivity means the quality of having a positive attitude. They state the opposite as negativity. Since there is a lot of talk about being positive, curiosity led me to ask different people what they thought positivity meant. My 19-year-old daughter said, "Positivity means finding the good even in the worst situations." When I posted the question on my social media, I got over 100 responses in a few hours. The answers offered me glimpses into people's worldviews across section of their minds, their philosophies, their approach to life, and what they believed in. One definition that stood out was that positivity meant keeping our arms open to embrace everyone, especially ourselves. Only then would thoughts not linger longer than required, and only then can one understand self-love. If we manage to do this, we could also accept diversity and opinions and thoughts different from ours. Another respondent said that he wakes up and gets out of bed because of positivity. To him, positivity was hope that the day that lay ahead would be better than the one he had yesterday. Yet another defined positivity as karma. She believed that whatever we faced daily was because of our karmas. And she tried to stay calm knowing this too would pass. Another said that positivity is finding an oasis of peace within ourselves, despite all the external circumstances. Read the definition that you have written. How does it make you feel? Do you think the phrase is overused? Do you think that it is possible to apply the definition you have written to all situations life throws at you? The magic mindset and reality: for some people, the very word positivity is an irritant. They believe that positivity lulls us into a false sense of not seeing reality for what it is. How can we be positive about, say, our finances, when the credit card bills have piled and we are broke? How can we say that the world is beautiful when millions in it are dying? How can we be positive if a loved one has been diagnosed with a terminal illness? What if the person who means the most to us is snatched away suddenly? That is exactly what happened to me when I lost my father, out of the blue, with no warning whatsoever. He was supposed to visit me a week after the day he died. Instead, he leaned back in his chair and passed away, in the middle of a conversation with my mother. And the surprising part? He was absolutely healthy and had no age-related ailments. He used to walk about 10 kilometers every day. He had meetings scheduled the next day. He was 65. Since I was very close to my father, speaking to him almost every day, you can imagine what a massive shock it was. It felt like my world had ended. For a year, I didn't smile, socialize or talk to anyone. My father was one of the most cheerful people I knew, and one of the things he would keep emphasizing was that no matter what happened in our lives, we always have choices. We can choose to see things differently. This is the essence of the magic mindset. It is viewing things differently, looking at them from an angle that we never considered before. A few years ago, I was studying portraiture in the UK. Our task was to make drawings from real, life models who would pose for a couple of minutes. We would all stand in a circle around the model and draw what we saw. Though we were all looking at the same model, our drawings would all be starkly different. The instructor encouraged us to walk around the model and see how even the slightest movement on our part changed how we viewed them. Life is like that. Two people faced with the same tragedy will view the event in different ways. As for me, after my father's death, I found it very hard to view things differently. How could anything change the fact that my father had been snatched away from me? It was so unfair. I was plunged into darkness. I didn't want to wake up in the morning or get out of bed. To cope with the spiral I was experiencing, I started a blog. I decided that I would focus only on the positive things, no matter how small, that happened to me during that day. There was a lot of sadness in my life, yet I chose to cling on to the tiniest happy thing I could think of. Without knowing or realizing it, I was doing exactly what my father had ingrained in me. I was applying the principles of the magic mindset. The magic mindset helps us view things in a way that is most advantageous to us at the current stage of our life. In the initial days, no one read my blog. But I was writing because I didn't know what else to do. I missed my father terribly. I couldn't accept that life could change so suddenly. My father believed that we could achieve whatever we set out to, if we were determined enough, and that included happiness. Happiness. He used to tell me, nobody can make you unhappy without your permission. As I learned to cope with the shock and the numbing grief of his death, I began focusing on what was going right, something my father had always advocated. I had a goal now, a way to fight the inner darkness, focus and write about one single happy thing that I could think of. Some days, even when I felt that I had nothing to write about, I would think hard and find something. As the months went by, the footfall on my blog grew. Though I was writing primarily for myself, my words soothed many. It has been over 14 years now, and I continue to blog not daily anymore, but regularly.